All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another On the Record series for our interviews of the sponsors from the Unconfiscatable conference. This is episode number 3, and this time I am joined by Ken from Moon. Also goes by Pay with Moon because Moon is a hard domain nor Twitter handle to get a hold of, not to be confused with Moon, Carl Moon, his YouTube channel, and just in general, Bitcoin going to the moon is a very popular phrase. Man, you guys did a pretty good job marketing, grabbing the name Moon and becoming more and more popular with that, man.
That's the goal, or we want to own the Moon name. That's it, and hopefully really associate ourselves with going to the moon. So,
all right, we're going to find out a lot about this product. I have lots of questions, which we will get to. But let's start with you, Ken. Tell us a little bit something about yourself first. I have your Twitter handle right there. A little bit something about yourself, how you got started in the space, and how you came to, and how Moon started.
Sure, yeah. So, I'm an engineer. I actually learned about Bitcoin in 2010 browsing Reddit, back then when Reddit was mostly a bunch of nerds and engineers talking about tech stuff. And I read about Bitcoin. I was like, I love this idea. This is absolutely fascinating. And I kind of followed along reading as much as I could. 2013 was when I really was like, I was involved, I was trading on Mt. Gox. I'm in the class action lawsuit against them. It's like, that's a whole nightmare. But I was on the sidelines, working in other industries until 2018. I was like, you know what, I need to go into Bitcoin as a full-time, like I just want to put my life into this, right? Because what I saw was the shift of people moving into, pretty much living on Bitcoin. Like I just see the whole world living on Bitcoin. And I wanted to be a part of that movement. And for years before then, I had tried getting some of my friends like, hey, let's build something cool in the space. And they're like, Bitcoin's stupid. That's not going to go anywhere. And so I ended up going at it myself. And I think some of them kind of regret not coming with me at this point. But, the whole idea with Moon is, hey, how can we get it so that, build a product where you can just live entirely on Bitcoin? Make that a reality that's not something 10 years out, but that's actually possible today. And that's kind of like the origin story. So we started 2018, 2019, we launched a product where you could shop on Amazon with Bitcoin. That was a pretty big hit, and featured on the front page of TechCrunch one day, and then Amazon sent us a cease and desist. We had to shut the product down. And then we ended up rebuilding the product and relaunching the product last year in its current incarnation, where you can create these virtual Visa cards, load them with Bitcoin, and then go shopping pretty much anywhere Visa is accepted in the United States. The big notable differentiator from other similar products is we're the only one that doesn't require KYC. It's the most private way you can spend your Bitcoin. And that's been very powerful for a lot of people who they want to live on their Bitcoin. They want to maintain their privacy, their non-custody. We're a non-custodial service, but also for a lot of people around the world who are, they're getting into Bitcoin to avoid some of the hyperinflation in their local economies, and they need to buy real things in the real world, and they end up using our product for that. So that's a little bit of a background.
All right. No, that sounds great. We're going to dive into it a little bit. So as the website explains, it's really, really simple. Basically, you add a Moon to your browser. You get a browser plugin, and then you just request a virtual debit card, pay for it in Bitcoin on chain or with Lightning. And then you get basically a virtual number that you could use around the web. And I'll be honest, personally, I have not yet used the product, but I definitely plan to because I want to know more about it. As I learn more about it, I will teach my audience more about it. And then we all decide if it's something we want to start using. So how has your growth been? How are you guys, as people find more about it, are you guys growing pretty quick? How big is the team now?
Yeah, so it's been pretty wild. We launched this back in March, and we've been growing pretty quickly. Our users is going about 20% growth month over month. Payment volumes are even higher than that. So a lot of people are using it. It's really all organic so far. People just telling their friends. A lot of conversations on Twitter about us. We're not running advertisements or anything like that just yet. So it's very much an organic movement of people who are finding us that, and it's meeting their needs.
Yeah,
So
I first found out about you guys when I walked past your booth at Bitcoin 2022.
yep, yeah,
Oh,
2021.
2021, sorry,
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year. Yeah. Bitcoin 2021, 22 is coming. So
Yep.
that was in April. So that was about a month after you guys launched them.
Yeah. We launched, and then we just went. We had the Bitcoin conference. We had an opportunity to get a booth so we could just talk to some folks, and it was what we had. A lot of our customers, or a lot of our users were there, and they just came up and talked to us. It was a great way to kind of learn, hey, how can we better help solve your problems? How can we make the product better? So that was a really great experience, and hoping to do similar things at Unconfiscatable. Really getting in touch with folks and talking to the community.
Yeah, so as a TLDR, you guys are no different than someone anonymously buying a Visa debit card at Walgreens or CVS by paying cash to the cashier and buying a Visa debit card that you can spend anywhere in person or on the web, because that one is physical. You guys don't have physical ones yet, but is that something you guys would be able to do, say at a booth at a conference, have the physical versions like the ones at Walgreens, and people can just pay you for it and you'll load it right there with a machine?
Yeah, so that's something that's possible. We haven't focused too much on physical. The next step for us is Apple Pay and Google Pay integration. So you can just load.
I know we're both Bitcoiners, and we're sitting here talking about physical things,
Yeah, right. But some people do ask for it. The issue is just shipping it to people, right? Because we're not at a storefront necessarily, right?
Yeah, no, shipping it gets a little annoying, but like I said, in person at a table at a big conference.
Yeah. It's definitely possible to do that. We just haven't gone too far down that path.
Gotcha. So now one of the things, so I'm not a big gift cards guy. Like here's the thing. I mean, one of the reasons maybe I'm not jumping in on this is because I was never a big gift card person. Because like the gift card industry is kind of scammy in that, like, what, 40-30% of all gift card money never gets used. So someone is collecting all of that.
Yep.
And I know that statistic. So me giving someone a gift card, I know 40% of that is just going down the toilet. It's like giving your friend $100 worth of Bitcoin in 2012, and then they're hitting you up when Bitcoin is $60,000. You're going, hey, remember that $30,000 you gave me? How do I access that?
Yep. Yeah. So that's what's really cool about our platform is that when you get this card, your funds are not trapped, right? Say you spend that card and you have a little bit left over, or maybe you don't spend it at all. You made a mistake by typing in the amount. You delete the card, you're going to get a credit on your account, and now you can just go create another card, right? So our goal is not to keep any leftover balance on these Moon cards. The goal is to make it so you can spin up a Moon card whenever you'd like to make a payment, whatever. There's a little bit left over, that's fine. The money's not lost. You just delete the card, boom, now you have a credit on your account, apply it to a future card. So
okay, so I'm sharing your screen. So someone would sign up with your website, and does that require KYC or just email?
We ask for name, email, password. That's it.
Name, email, password. Okay, but no, I know you don't check people's IDs. That people don't mail like they do at exchanges. Okay, so you can create an account with an email address, and you load someone sends a Bitcoin to you guys. You would immediately convert it to US dollars because you're not a custodian. Because that's another thing, right? If you were ever wanted to be a custodian, of course, that comes with regulation, then people could convert Bitcoin to dollars on the swipe versus on the load. So you guys convert everything on the load.
Exactly. Yeah, we do it on the load. And effectively, you get a free conversion from Bitcoin to dollars when you load a card. We don't charge any fees on that. and we don't require any of your personal information either.
So what kind of an exchange rate do you use? Do you take a small percentage on that? Or
we give you the Coinbase rate. So whatever Coinbase says is the rate that you get. And we don't even pass on the Coinbase fee. So you're getting a better deal than if you were to just sell some Bitcoin on Coinbase.
I mean, eventually it's going to come up. How the hell do you guys make money?
Yeah. So what's great is that, on one hand, we do make some money on the exchange because we aggregate all of these trades. We get better fees and we can integrate with liquidity providers and we can actually get better rates than what the consumer would get. And then on the other side, we also get paid indirectly from the merchants. So merchants have to pay that fee to accept Visa payments. We get a big chunk of that fee that the merchant ends up paying.
Oh, so you split the merchant fee between Visa and yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Gotcha. And those fees are sometimes passed on to the consumer, as you see on a gas pump, where it says credit card price this, cash price that. But most merchants, and I am also a small business owner still, because I haven't got out of the business yet. And most of the time, the merchant eats the fee. Same thing when you guys purchase stuff from tonevays.com. I don't know why I have such a horrible rate with PayPal, but PayPal takes 5% on that. Whether, between 2 and 5%. It depends on which country the payment's coming from. And some of that is the credit card fee. Some of that is the PayPal fee. Okay, so that answers the question as to how you guys make money. You get it from the merchant themselves. So yeah, so this is pretty good for the consumer. Now, the other question, because I'm trying to, I don't prep with written questions. They all come from the head. So the other question is, when you get one of these cards, there's no name on it, right? So a lot of places where you go to pay with a Visa or a credit card, they ask for a name to put. What do you put? Moon? Like what do people put?
You should put your name, but it could be any name, right? But you should put your name. That's the answer.
Oh, okay, so because it's a debit card, they kind of know that it's not going to cross-check against the name when you're using it to pay for something.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not doing cross-checking on name or address. So you can enter. You should put your name and your address. That's the right thing to do. But you could, in theory, put any name and address you'd like.
Okay. So next obvious question. What are the limits on these cards? Like can I make a card for $12,000?
Yeah, so great question. So there's a few limits. One, you can't create a card for more than $1,000. And you cannot create more than $10,000 of cards a day. So if you want to think of it this way, you can say you can't buy anything more than $1,000 and you can't spend more than $10,000 a day. Those are the major restrictions.
Got it. And you can't use multiple cards for a single purchase. I don't think that many merchants let you do that.
That does depend. We do see some people, if they're paying another company, right? And they'll say, oh, I have a $5,000 bill I need to pay. They'll create 5 $1,000 cards and have the merchant split the payment to 5 $1,000 charges. So we have seen that. Same thing on Amazon. What you could do is you could buy a few Moon cards to then buy Amazon gift cards adds all up to a larger amount. So there are some ways that people find ways of spending more than $1,000, but it takes a few extra steps.
Where do those limits come from? Is that the financial regulator? Is that a FinCEN rule,
Yep.
or is that like your safe?
That is the federal government FinCEN regulation.
Okay, got it. And have you guys heard anything from them? Are they looking to lower those? I know there's this big, demonization of cash and how evil it is. Are you guys keeping up with that law and making sure that like they don't throw something crazy at you, like lowering this to $100?
Yeah, we don't anticipate that would happen anytime soon, if at all. We haven't seen any proposed bills coming through seeking to do that. And if they did, it would drastically change, a multi-billion-dollar industry of prepaid cards. So we don't anticipate that happening. Obviously, anything's possible, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to roll with the punches and work with regulators as much as we can, right? That's what you got to do. But I don't anticipate that happening anytime soon.
All right. Pretty cool. So I already have a question from the live chat. Are you guys participating in the program of checking the addresses of where Bitcoin is coming from? For example, Coinbase and Gemini will not let you send in Bitcoin directly from, say, a mixer. Or do you cross-check any known, alleged criminal Bitcoin addresses, like from a hack back in the day? Do you guys participate in that? I'm sure someone maintains this list for companies to use.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And even though we don't do KYC, we do a lot on the anti-money laundering side of things to make sure that we don't get in trouble and we're obeying all the laws. So a big part of that is making sure, that's called chain analysis, looking at the blockchain and saying, where are these funds coming from? So right now, so to be clear, right now we have a few payment methods. We do support Lightning payments, and we support creating a card from your Coinbase account, right? We're about to launch on-chain payments in about 2 weeks, and we will be doing that chain analysis. So you won't be able to send through a mixer. We will not accept any Bitcoin that's coming from any kind of if it's been involved in any illegal activity. We do our best effort to make sure that we're not accepting that.
But Lightning Bitcoin is a lot more private, so there's really almost no chain analysis that is respected on the Lightning network.
Exactly. And that's where, it's pros and cons, right? Like, if we're accepting Lightning, we think that's really important. We think that's the future of Bitcoin. We love the privacy on Lightning, right? It means us as a company, we can't do anything, right? We don't have the ability to do chain analysis on that, which is, there are pros and cons to it, right? Our job and our responsibility as a company to make best effort attempt with the technology available. But we also do want to support people who want to make private payments. And, we have the limits in place. We do other things in terms of transaction monitoring. So for example, if, someone creates a bunch of accounts on Moon and all those accounts are going to a laundromat in New Jersey, they're like, that's probably money laundering, right? So we try to detect these things and make sure there's nothing sketchy happening. And we do a best effort attempt on that.
All right. Would you proactively report that to the authorities, or you would wait for a subpoena and then say, yes, I got a subpoena, here are the records?
Yeah, so there are, we are regulated, so we do have a responsibility to report suspicious activity if we think that something illegal is happening, right? But if we do not see some obvious sign of some suspicious activity, we're not jumping to report things.
Because you're a startup, you're a small company. Exactly. I mean, how many employees are you going to devote to sitting there looking at every single transaction and which business they're potentially coming from? Because this is not easy to do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work. We're a small team. We got about 10 folks on the team right now, and it's really, we look at things if they're like, we've had some, we haven't had to report any suspicious activity so far. We've been very fortunate. We haven't seen anything illegal going on. And we do other things, like we block certain merchant categories. So for example, you can't use a Moon card to buy more crypto, right? So you can't funnel money through back into Bitcoin, for example. So there's certain restrictions.
So how would, because very few exchanges accept credit cards or debit cards anyway, right?
We also have fine-grained controls over where we allow cards to be spent. We can restrict certain merchants or merchant categories. If we wanted to restrict firearms, chemical sales, we can restrict all those types of purchases.
But is this list publicly available on your website or not yet?
It's on our FAQ. It has the list of everything that's
okay, let's go. I'm curious. Let's go and take a look at that. So I'm going to go back to the website. I know people are curious. My channel is pretty Bitcoin. I'm still not sure why you're accepting Bitcoin Cash, but hey, if someone wants to get rid of their Bitcoin Cash, you guys are immediately selling it anyway. So ideally, guys, go ahead and spend your shit coins, hodl your Bitcoin. This is a way to get rid of your unwanted altcoins, convert them into dollars onto the card. Amazing use case for shit coins. Just let the Moon team dump it on the market.
You'll get the best rate possible. Yeah.
Okay, so your FAQ is right down there. Let's go and take a look.
So yeah,
Out of
scroll
virtual
down.
card.
Let's see, there should be one on limits or restrictions. Let's see.
Restrictions. There you go. Are there any restrictions when using Moon prepaid card? Some types of purchases are restricted. See the list of restrictions. Okay, so let's go to the list.
That's the next question right there. What type of purchases are restricted?
There it is. Okay. You cannot use Moon or the Moon card for the following purchases: wires or money orders, direct marketing service, security broker dealers and associated activities, dating escort services. What about like OkCupid?
So actually, it's actually a big problem where for some reason, Tinder and OkCupid get lumped together with escort services when categorized by payment processors. So we're in the process of, because we see a lot of people signing up for Tinder with Moon cards. So we're in the process of making sure we get that unblocked, because it's very reasonable to sign up for a dating site, you know.
Interesting. That's actually a very debatable issue. Is Tinder more of an escort service provider than a dating provider? I think that's a really good debate. Interesting. Wow, learn something new every day. Massage services. All right, that one is tricky, right? Because my physical business is actually a sports massage therapy office. the physical business, I don't talk about it much, but it was a business I opened back in 2014, just as I was quitting my Wall Street job. I'm not going to say whether that was a good idea or a bad idea, but it's a legitimate massage service, not an escort style massage service. So it's interesting that that's on the ban list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have seen some legitimate massage services get blocked. We haven't had anybody do any like sketchy massage place. It's all like Massage Envy, you know, like run of the mill spots. But it is unfortunate they get lumped together.
All right, so obviously no gambling, no online casinos. Okay, so is the online casino thing, does that also, is this list similar to, let's say, that prepaid debit card out of Walmart? Is it the same list?
Yeah.
Or you guys have a special list?
It's probably the same. I haven't checked there specifically, but most of them generally have the same type of list like this.
Okay, because I don't really see a big problem with, what's the problem with gambling? Because, oh, chargebacks. Mm-hmm. It's a Visa does chargebacks. That's the gambling part. Okay, because prepaid card. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also it's a state by state thing. So yeah, the you know, Visa and the banks and everybody, they don't want to necessarily get caught up in something that may be legal in one state, not another. It's kind of gray area.
Got it. All right. We got that out of the way. Cool. Okay, and another question that I had was, so you're accepting on-chain Bitcoin. You're accepting a bunch of on-chain shitcoins. They don't have.
So right now we have nothing on-chain just yet. We focus very much on Lightning, and 90 to 95% of our payments volume is via Lightning right now.
Oh, so you guys do you guys accept on-chain Bitcoin loads?
We're about to, in about 2 weeks.
Oh, so you guys were always with Lightning, not with on-chain Bitcoin. I see. But this other stuff is on-chain.
So those aren't on-chain. Those are actually just through Coinbase. So, you know, that may make the audience feel a little better. We're just integrated with Coinbase. So it's just like, you know, whatever you have on your Coinbase account, you can just create a Moon card from. So there's no special integration with those blockchains or anything.
Oh, I gotcha. So if you do send in, so if you guys start allowing on-chain Bitcoin, is it going to be Bitcoin at Coinbase, or are you going to actually pull up a QR code for people?
We're going to pull up a QR code. So we'll be accepting Bitcoin from any Bitcoin wallet you got.
But is it going to be your QR code that you then send to Coinbase, or are you just going to remove yourself as the middleman and send it directly to Coinbase?
No. So we're building out our own Bitcoin infrastructure here, just like we have with Lightning. You know, we pop up a QR code for your Lightning invoice. We're doing the same thing with QR code for on-chain Bitcoin address.
All right, I gotcha. I see. Okay, so the next question is, are you looking at potentially doing liquid integration, the liquid Bitcoins, which have a one-to-one value to Bitcoins. They also give a little more privacy, a little more anonymity, and without any of the currency risk, accepting liquid Bitcoin.
That's a great question. We haven't seen too much demand for it. I think liquid Bitcoin has mostly so far been used from from exchange to exchange transfers in large denominations of Bitcoin, whereas like Lightning is mostly used for the smaller transactions. So if we saw more demand, 100%, that'd be really exciting. I'm not too much of an expert on the liquid side of things, but if there was demand for it, like 100%, we'd add that. But we don't have plans to do that just yet.
Okay, gotcha. I have a good question from the live stream. How international is this card? Can it be used anywhere Visa is accepted? But I guess because it's an online, can I pop it in my Google or Apple Pay wallet or Google wallet and use it off my cell phone in person?
Yeah, so Apple Pay, Google Pay, we're in the process of getting that integrated now. So that should be coming real soon. That was the number one most requested feature that we've been getting because people want to shop at the point of sale. In terms of the global angle of this, right now you can only use the cards to shop at US merchants, right? So you can be pretty much anywhere, but the merchant has to be a US merchant right now. That's something we're working on, kind of expanding more so we can not just issue cards in dollars, but we can issue cards in other local currencies. So you can go shop in those regions as well.
Right, but that still localizes the card to that region. And I know there's this big pain in the ass with Visa and MasterCard. A lot of them are location-based. Yeah. But if, let's say, once you integrate this card into a Google Pay wallet, and I happen to be in Dubai paying for a taxi, would I be able to do it? And the answer is so far no, right?
Yeah, probably not. It depends how they process it. And that's something we're still working through. But I believe you would not be able to. But it depends. Like what we found is that certain merchants in other countries are actually US merchants behind the scenes. It's like the #1 app in Venezuela is called Yummy. It's like their version of Uber. It's actually a US company, right? So people use Moon for ride sharing and ordering food in Venezuela.
And like 7-Eleven is like one of the biggest chains in the world. Oh, yeah. And every like there may not be electricity there, but there's definitely a 7-Eleven around, like in the corners of the Philippines or anywhere you go. And I'm actually not sure if that's a US company or not, but if it is, they would probably be able to process that payment, right?
Yeah, it depends how they have it set up. I have 7-Eleven is a Japanese company, but it depends how they have their payment processor set up. There are weird things that happen sometimes too. There'll be a US company that will maybe charge you from an Ireland merchant, which is like Facebook does that, for example. So there's like weird little things that happen behind the scenes that we've been learning a lot about, and it's been really educational, allowing us to kind of continue building out this product and helping users and really becoming very, very familiar with the Visa network and the traditional payments flows. It honestly really highlights the need for Bitcoin because
it does because again, this people are realizing the benefits of these somewhat borderline anonymous debit cards. They are limited in how much you can spend and how much you can revolve, but that's still 1,000 per purchase and 10,000 per day, right? Like you can accumulate that over a year, and that can add up to a lot. Of course, you're going to probably trigger some suspicious activity if you're maxing these things out on a daily basis.
If you're maxing them out every day, and like that could be suspicious. But but if you're just spending, you're just living your life on Bitcoin, like
right. But like these things were originally designed, pre-internet age, where credit cards already had their network, but internet wasn't what it was like today. So these things were never designed to be global. They were always designed to be local or go home and purchase something on the internet to your house. The ability to now do this completely virtual without getting the physical card in hand, buying it in a different part of the world and spending it in a different part of the world the next day is something the system is not actually ready for. Neither Visa nor MasterCard are designed for that. And that's why it looks like you guys may run into a bunch of problems. And if that happens, like I know, I know I've dealt with other Bitcoin debit cards. Like I know Embly is the one that I've worked with in the past. And if you're getting an Embly in the US, it would have to be a Visa. If you're getting a Embly card in Europe, it would have to be a MasterCard. It's kind of like gang turf wars, between Visa and MasterCard. You have this region, they have this region. And if you're living here, you got to get this one. And if you're living there, you got to get that one. So it's like there are borders and turf wars, but that one has full KYC. So you kind of know where people are. When it comes to these small anonymous debit cards, it becomes very, very tricky. How do they play their turf war game in this world, and they don't have a solution?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's even more complicated than that. It's not just Visa, MasterCard, but it's every bank, it's every government, right? These are all kind of like overlapping competition between all these different parties, and there's so many different fragmented regulations and things like that taken into account. So that's why what we're doing is it's not super straightforward. It is challenging, but we're learning a lot. We've been building out, and our cards are getting better over time. I find that exciting. Whenever I look at a problem, I get excited because it's a problem to solve. If it was easy, somebody else would have done it already. So.
Yeah. So what is the next market you guys are looking at? Are you looking at the European market, Latin American market? Where's your global focus?
Yeah, so we're really looking a lot at Latin America and Africa. Those are the two big markets where we see by far the most interest from consumers. And they really need it the most, right? Like for people in the US, we have customers in the US, they're Bitcoiners. They want to live on Bitcoin. They love the privacy. They're really like, wow, this company, kind of has the same values as me, and that's important. But we have people overseas where they desperately need this. Like we get emails that are just like, your product changed my life. I don't know what I would do without your product, right? Which is surprising to me because I don't suffer from the same problems that people in other countries have. And it's very powerful to see messages like that from customers. So we really want to help the people that need help most, that would benefit the most by living on Bitcoin. In the US, at least we could say, the dollar's relatively stable compared to some of the currencies overseas. So it's much more of a need to have internationally than domestically.
All right. So what happens to the Europeans? I have a lot of European viewers. Are they just
they're out of luck?
They're out of luck for a little while?
They are out of luck, probably indefinitely. So the European Union has the strictest KYC laws in the world, pretty much, maybe besides China. So offering a local European version of this card will require KYC, and there's no way around that.
Right, and you guys don't want to get into the KYC business.
Yeah.
So you're gonna stick to the non-KYC markets unless you really need to grow and expand the team, because that's a whole new department.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's something we'll do that at some point, right? There are people who want to spend beyond these limits. For example, if you do KYC, now you can shop internationally, right? Like there are other things like when you do KYC, you unlock certain things, but we always want to be KYC optional, right? We're focusing on the people. Like if you need a KYC, Bitcoin card, there are other products out there, right? What's different about us is the privacy angle.
Right. Well, the privacy is one-sided. The privacy is a person properly buying this card could remain anonymous, but what they buy with the card, they cannot be anonymous because you guys are still issuing the card. And I'm sure for many reasons, you guys are probably keeping an eye on what people are buying with the card, whether it's for your own personal things so that as research. And of course, if you have that data could be subpoenaed by the US authorities as you are a US company. So or potentially hacked, like what happened with Ledger. So here come the uncomfortable questions. Obviously, you guys are tracking what things are being spent on. How are you using that information? Is that information for sale? And how long do you retain that information? Obviously, you don't know who the user is, but you do know how your cards are being spent. You have to, as a company, like you kind of have to, because then you can create a better product. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So we actually don't know what they purchased, but we know where they spent, right? So if you shop on Amazon, we see, oh, you spent $500 on Amazon. I don't know. There's no way for me to know what you purchased. And I don't necessarily want to know what you purchased. Like as a company, where privacy is very important to us and important to our customers, we don't want more information than we need, and we're not in the business of selling data, right? So we get this data. We do this to understand. Hey, people are shopping in Amazon. People are shopping here. People are shopping there. We want to understand. Okay, maybe we want to run a promotion, right? And say, hey, if you shop over here, you're gonna get some Bitcoin back. Speaking of which, if you sign up for your unconfiscatable ticket with Moon, you're gonna get 10% Bitcoin back. So we run deals like that, and but other than that, we're not in the business selling data. We keep it very private, and even internally, we're always talking. How can we make sure, like even the way we structure data in our database? Say something catastrophic happened, somebody hacked the database, or there was a subpoena of some kind, right? Like, how do we have the data kind of siloed where, only if you need that information do you see that information, even just employees of the company, right? You don't want everyone, an intern, to have access to your, this email address, shopping over there, right? So we do a lot to anonymize the data, even internally amongst the team.
Gotcha. And how long do you retain that information? Does it ever get purged?
We haven't purged any data yet. We haven't been around that long.
Yeah,
right?
you've only been around for a year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at some point we probably will, in large part because just the cost of having so much data as we grow will be large. Right. I imagine it's going to be in the years, maybe 3-4 years before that data gets purged. But we also do comply with like GDPR and the California privacy rules. So if somebody emails us and says, I request that you delete all of the information about me, we'll delete all your information. We'll close your account and you're gone. And that's a part of GDPR compliance. So we're happy to do that and honor that request.
All right, very cool. And you guys also retain the link between the card number and the Bitcoin that was used to fill the card.
Yeah. So in the case, like right now with Lightning, right, like we just see that an invoice was paid. We don't keep a record of like what node that came from or anything like that. For on-chain, we will have a record of like what the address that came from. That's important to have. But that's pretty much it.
Well, and someone is asking if you can withdraw back to Bitcoin, and it sounds like the answer to that is no, but you can transfer the fiat balance to another Moon card.
Yeah, so you can you can create it, delete a Moon card, create a Moon card, you can use it. If you reach out to support, we always like putting the customer first. So if you email us and say, hey, can you send me my Moon credit back to me? Or, if we gave you Bitcoin rewards and you want to withdraw that, it's a manual process. You tell us the Bitcoin address, you tell, whatever Coinbase account or Lightning invoice, we'll send that to you because we want to make sure that our customers are always happy.
Someone is asking, why do you comply with GDPR if you have no EU customers? But I think, like you said, California has a similar.
Yeah, California has a similar thing. Yeah, and it's also a matter of just, sometimes you as a company, you can look at these regulations and say, these are just annoying and a waste of time. I don't want to bother. We look at them and say, this seems to be what people want when they're looking for privacy from a company, right? Mm-hmm. We want to be on the forefront of privacy and respecting our customers. So, we try to go above and beyond and make sure that, we keep everybody happy. And if there is some European user, you have to be very careful with GDPR. If there is someone in Europe that happens to use the product, right? Because someone in Europe could, get a Moon card to shop at a US merchant, right? We just want to be very careful and make sure that we're following all the rules.
Right. Hey, guys. Yeah. So it's not that they don't allow European users. They don't know where you are. It's just that only US merchants are accepting them. So there's nothing wrong with if you are a European and you're coming to the United States, you can load up a bunch of these cards and spend them all over the US, which is a very convenient way of shopping, perhaps.
Yeah. You can book your air flight. You can get your hotel. You can spend, all your meals, have a great vacation in the States.
Yeah. All right, pretty cool. All right, so I got a lot of my questions answered. And hey, guys, come meet Moon at Unconfiscatable. I'm gonna do screen share one more time. And right after I do that, the floor will be yours, Ken. I mean, what did I not ask that you wanted to cover today? Maybe you can think of something, questions, other questions that you get that people would really want to know. Where are we here? Here we go. Unconfiscatable. Join us March 3rd to 6th in Las Vegas. There it is. You can also click on this link to go to Pay with Moon. And yeah, it's going to be great. Do you play poker, Ken?
I play so infrequently. Every time I play, I have to kind of like do some prep work and relearn it a little bit. But I'll definitely be playing.
Excellent. So you're perfect for our tournament.
Because you'll take all my money. Is that why?
Which only costs 0.01 Bitcoin. So definitely come join us. That will take place Thursday night on the 3rd. We will definitely see you at the carnivory dinner as well after the first day of the conference. The dinner is sold out, guys. I do apologize about that. But the Mob Museum could only fit so many people. You can check out our videos from last year, check out our great speaker list, and get ready for more interviews with our awesome sponsors. All right. So what did I forget to ask you about the card that people may want to know?
Yeah, so a few questions we get pretty commonly. One is, we have a browser plugin and we have a web app. So if you want to use it on your phone, you could just go to paywithmoon.com on your phone, log in, generate a virtual card up right on your phone. Same browser plugin, it's not required, but it does make it a little bit easier to generate a virtual card when you're on a checkout page, for example. Our browser plugin does not pull data. We're not analyzing your browsing history or anything like that. It's just purely there for convenience. So if you're not comfortable with the browser plugin, feel free to use our website, if that makes you more comfortable. We do have a mobile app that will be coming soon. That's in progress. So you'll be able to, open it up on your phone, use the app, load directly into Apple Pay or Google Pay, pay at a point of sale. We're constantly working to make it a simpler and better experience. Other than that, we're on social media everywhere at Pay with Moon. Like you said, we couldn't get Moon. That's a hard one to get, so it's Pay with Moon. Hopefully it embeds in everyone's mind. Oh, I got to pay with Moon, right? Yeah, you can find us pretty much everywhere with that. We have a Discord, we got a Twitter, Instagram. We're on just about everything. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We covered a lot of ground here. I got to say, you have some great questions and very detailed ones. So hopefully that answered everyone's questions in the audience.
Very cool. Thanks. I know it looks like somebody joined us late in the comments asking about the Ethereum and Litecoin and other shit coins you get. Will you buy Bitcoin with it? Well, no, like you can send those in if you have them in your Coinbase account, because Moon has integrated with Coinbase since you guys use them to sell the Bitcoin anyway. And once you send in Ethereum or Litecoin, it instantly gets converted to dollars loaded onto the card. So neither the company nor yourself can convert those Litecoin or Ethereum into Bitcoin.
Yeah. So if you want to get rid of your Bitcoin Cash, we're the cheapest way to do it. No fees. So
yeah, the no fees part is pretty cool actually. Yeah, so it's lowest fees to convert it into dollars, but then you do have to use them where Visa is accepted at US merchants through a virtual debit card. All right, Ken, thank you so much for joining, and can't wait to see you in Vegas in about a month.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you then.
All right, thanks. I know people are dying asking me about the price of Bitcoin. I will take 2 minutes and just, because I'm curious, and just sneak a peek at the price of Bitcoin now that our interview has ended. And we were looking really good early this morning. We are still looking pretty good. We did hit a new high probably a few hours ago, and that was nice. We just had a little pullback. I remain pretty bullish in this market. What do you think, Ken? How bullish are you? What are your thoughts on where Bitcoin is going? And thank you for creating awesome products to help Bitcoin adoption.
Thank you. You know, the way I think of it is, you know, the more products built on Bitcoin, the more use cases there are, the more utility there is, and price goes up. So obviously, I think Bitcoin's going to the moon. But you know, long term, short term, frankly, I'm terrible at making these guesses on what's going to happen in the short term. But you know, long term, very, very bullish.
All right, so we got a couple other questions, but I think the answers to those are pretty quick. Also, they're asking, do you run a Lightning node or which one do you use? Well, that's a good question. What Lightning node do you guys operate?
Yeah, so we do run a Lightning node. It's one of the biggest ones on the Lightning network. You know, feel free to open channels to us. We love opening channels. We run LND from Lightning Labs. We love the folks over at Lightning Labs. So you know, really, really great folks, and they're very helpful.
All right, no, that's very, very cool. And people are saying, let's say I want to connect my Lightning node to yours or your merchant gateway. I guess that's very possible. You can just go ahead and do it. Your node is pretty public, and those that understand how to set up Lightning nodes should have no problem finding your company's node on there.
Yep, exactly.
All right, very cool. Well, on that note, I'm gonna let you go, Ken. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you soon at the conference.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Thank you, guys.